There we go. This insanity. Oh no, the French girl. I'm so sorry, Susato. I should have told you about the toxin. Ray. You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decided to shoulder the burden alone. No. No. That's not it at all. I was scared of my failure coming to light, that's all. So I hoped to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susie? That you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence? That you would stand by me to the last? I remember. And yet I didn't deserve your trust in me. I hid important details from you, Susie. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Eat me, Susie. I deserve it. No, in fact, throw me on the floor. No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets. Throw rotten tomatoes at me. Make me bark like a dog. She did it all for this. She likes it rough. I'm no better, you know. Oh. Even though in my heart I knew that you would be pulled the knife blade from Miss Brett's back. There was just a brief moment when, in my mind, I doubted you. Susie. I'm sorry. After I stood here and promised you that I'd stand by you and always be on your side. Well, I'm going to hop off now. Have a great rest of your stream. Thank you. Take care, Epizum. Have a great rest of your day. I betrayed your faith in me too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer. I will now commit Sudoku. I have shamed your family's name. Oh, no. I think this situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. You're both bottoms. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task. Yes, Father. That fact has certainly struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. Because I put on my glasses. See? Bling, bling. So, Ray. Oui? Can you find it in your heart to forgive me? No. Oh, Susie. I will never forgive you. You know, you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. Oh, Ray. Oh, Susie. Let's kiss. I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. Must also flee. I have to drive home from work. Then safe and sound travel home. Thank you so much for being here, Angeway. The English woman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean? And then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me with a knife in her back. I don't know, it sounds not entirely plausible, because it's like, how would you react sitting there and then someone shoves like a poisoned blade into your back? Would you also just calmly stand up and then fall on the ground? Or would you like scream at the top of your lungs because like someone stabbed you? Then again, there was, I think, an indication that it also stabbed her lungs. But even then, you would react in some way. You wouldn't just sit there and be like, feels like a poison blade in my back. Can't scream. Well, shit. It happened right before my eyes. And you were the only people in the hut at the time? That's right. That's right. Just Miss Brad and myself. There was no one else. She's just a giga chat. It is but a scratch. Yes. It's just a flesh wound. It's fine. So I just don't understand how she could possibly have been stabbed like that. It's impossible. Nobody could stab a knife through a wall that is made of straw or twigs. A great mystery indeed. Yeah, totally. I still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up. Maybe, but just maybe. Let's see. There we go. It will be alright. However, it happened, and whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you that I'm going to prove everything you've said you saw is true. To prove everything you've said you saw is true. Okay. Spoken like a true Mikotoba. Smile, glance, shine. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order. Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. The trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory-synthesized blend of alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing for it. Oh, I see. I knew that. Yes, without this chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the toxin. Good thing I have that and we didn't know about it. Chemical reagent? I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to... What? I sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to police. To deliver to police headquarters. Or maybe to deliver to the police headquarters instead. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though, just in case. Oh, thank you, Father. That's really wonderful. Smells like nothing. Let me taste it. And it's gone. A special indicator solution for new poison under development by my father's team. It's been created in strict secrecy and exists only in my father's laboratory. What's the matter, Susie? You're suddenly very quiet. It's this newspaper article. Exclusive deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret. A government secret. It was all the English woman's doing. Huh? It was when the professor and Sasuke were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady swarmed in, pun intended, and without any compunction said to Professor Mikotoba, "Oh, Professor, surely your guest would love to hear about your work on that substance there." It put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. But Sasuke's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction. So then, Sasuke knew about the poison. Yes, and it's highly likely that he drank it. That the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too. This Minmo. By the way, did that reporter join you all when you went to the beach? Oh, no, I don't remember the reporter being there. Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there. Oh. A known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Sasuke pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office. Yet he obviously didn't go back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took his very candid photo. And then, presumably, he posted it anonymously to the police. Anon? Ah. Ah. Yes, that must be what happened. Cancer! We've just heard the new witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed into the courtroom at once. Why is this guy so weird? It's time to steel ourselves once again then. Defense Attorney Ryu Naruhodo? Hi. Ray has put her faith in me now and told me everything. So I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day. And then she enters and everybody's getting decapitated for no reason. Except the reason is that we can finish case 1 and move on to the next. Wonderful. The label appears to be written in a foreign language that I don't know. It could be English. Oh, it's even German. Wow. I return. I got lonely. Aw. Welcome back. It's German, so your knowledge of English is going to be of little help here, I'm afraid. Is it? What does it even say? Is that Ray? I can't even read this. Is that a K? K-R-A-Y-N-E? T? I don't even understand. Couldn't you just have written medicine on it in Japanese? Then we would be able to read it. Then we'd all be able to read it. German is the international language of medicine, my dear. Oh, is it? That's news to me. I thought Latin is the international language of medicine. But yes, I can certainly see the merit in labeling the bottle in Japanese. Though I'm not sure medicine would be entirely appropriate. Ask Rasputin. And you don't even tell me what it says. That is not very helpful. What is this supposed to be? Is this supposed to be an R in the beginning? Is it an I? Is it a J? Is it an H? I can't even read that. It's just weird. But okay, whatever. I hereby call this court to order as we reconvene to continue the trial of May Bambi. And it is actually Ray Bumby. Prosecutor Ouchie, have you summoned the new witness?
Before I address that question, Your Excellency, I have some very important news to share.
Oh? What news? And why does he look so happy about it?
During the recess, with the collaboration of Professor Mikotoba's laboratory at Yume University, the police re-examined the knife that was used to end Miss Jezebel's Bread's life.
Excellent. I admire your rapid handling of the matter.
Oh, too kind, Your Excellency, too kind. I was merely carrying out your instructions, of course. Step on me, Daddy.
I had the reagent delivered to the police headquarters by rickshaw, so it would be there in good time.
But judging from the man's swagger, I fear we might need to brace ourselves for the inevitable.
And Counsel, what were the results? I almost feel like the music is a tad too loud. But I think also the music is at only one possible setting. It's on. The music is set to on. Imagine that. Also, in my mixer, it is actually already reduced. It's crazy. Okay, I set it a few steps lower.
This dagger, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim, has no trace of poison anywhere along its blade.
What? Are you sure about that?
I would stake the reputation of the police on it, so I cannot be blamed.
Armed with the reagent, the test is extremely simple. They could have made a mistake. Murder weapon. A small knife from the scene of the crime that was found in the victim's back. No trace of poison was found on the blade. Still, last time we talked about this so-called murder weapon, I pointed out that it does not look like the same weapon that was found in the back of the victim. We had a photograph somewhere. So this is the photograph of her, but not with the actual weapon. Here we go. So, I'ma go to sleep now. Okay. Take care, Coffee. Until next time. Bye bye. If you go, of course. So here we have this photo, which is meant to frame Ray. The strange part is that the handle of the weapon is too long in comparison to this. Like, you look at this and you clearly can see it's meant to be held with one hand. The handle is far longer in the photo that we have. So that's the weird part about that. Hmm. Ah yes, this must be the victim's blood, which we cannot prove. Oh dear, blood is never a pretty sight, is it? I'm having to fight the urge to run it under a hot tap and get it clean. You have always been fastidious about cleanliness, haven't you? I think this is something else, Father. Is there anything we can look at apart from that? Not really. I still feel like there's something strange going on with the knives. It's believed to the victim's lung from a knife blade. Only a single wound was identified, right? A single deep stab wound from behind. Okay. I mean, you also look this blade. Like I said, the handle is what irks me is that the blood from this blade doesn't fit the photo. Like, even the blood on the blade doesn't fit the photo. The handle is too short. So, I'm pretty sure there's something going on there.
In short, the accused's feeble excuse earlier has been utterly destroyed.
No!
Now the prosecution is ready to call the new witness.
Ah, the newspaper reporter who managed to capture a photo of the crucial moment. Good. Very well. Officer, bring in the new witness. Not a trace of poison on the knife. What if that's really the case? How could the toxin have entered the victim's body? Very carefully. He's using a pencil. Why is he putting the pencil's tip on his tongue? It's not going to help to write better. It will just smudge the entire note more.
Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
Now I need a voice for this guy. Oh god. What am I going to give you? Am I going to make him Irish? Scottish? Didn't I give anyone already a Scottish accent? Who was in court before? Sasuke was in court before? Ray? Who else? Good question. Who else? Who was it? Also in court. Raiten Minmo of the Shoyu News. I'm what people call a journal. Should I give him that? Or I don't know. Oh my god, I just noticed his name is Many Memo. Many Memo. Many Notes. Oh my god. Does he know breakfast? Does he know breakfast? What about second breakfast? Raiden Minmo of the Shoyo News. Should I give him the voice of the other guy who's dead? Would be funny. I'm what people like to call giorno. I'm what people like to call giorno. He's alive again. I don't know what voice do I give this guy? Reiten. You know, Reiten, like Reiten, right? His name is basically Write Many Memos. Why? Reiten Minmo of the Shoyu News. I'm what people like to call a journal. What's a journal, Father? Do you know? It's a simple contraction of journalist. I'm there where the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch those scoops so they're in print in the next morning. I gotta catch 'em all. Holy shit, what's wrong with this guy? They don't call me the hero of the Herald for nothing. The nice guy of news. Oh, so, it was you who took this photo, was it? Well, what have we here? I'm sorry? Brace yourself, people. Minmo senses a scoop in the offing. Female student up to foul play defended by curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court. Oh my god. He's crazy. The readers will lap this up. We'll set it up after a fold of 72 point in a 5-leg format for the morning edition. Huh? Right then, let's start with your name. Oh, it's Ryu Naruhodo. Next, what made you want to become a lawyer? I wanted to reform our country's legal system, I suppose. Rio has suddenly become very ambitious, I see. I just borrowed Kazuma-sama's dream for a while.
By the way, my name is Taketsuchi Aochi. That's Taketsuchi Aochi.
I'm not entirely sure what Taketsuchi means, but Ouchie is, well, more or less clear what they mean. Take? Sachi, Ouchie. Are they seriously doing this? Are they seriously do this? Take? Like, take? Sachi, Ouchie? In the sense of take such ouchie? Is that his name? Is that the meaning of his name?
The so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objections strike fear into every defense lawyer's heart.
No, the readers won't buy that. What? Witness. Yes. What this court demands to know is whether or not you were responsible for taking this picture. It was delivered anonymously to the Imperial Police Bureau only yesterday. Yeah, I wouldn't be a journo if I didn't click quick when presented with a scoop like that now, would I?
Sometimes stories call out to me, sometimes I have to chase them down, but either way, you've got to be fast. Fast legs to run with, and a fast hand to write with. It's no good if you don't note it down, I always say. That's what I call my mini-me.
Actually, it says many memoism. Many memos. I will still call it mini-me. Mini-me. Ah yes, I remember your face. We met that day when you were interviewing myself and Sasuke.
Yes, right, that was me. Minmo again.
You were supposed to be going back to the Shoyu news office after our meeting.
But the scoop is, I didn't.
Because the English woman's words had piqued my journalistic interest. Miss Brad's word?
A criminal left to do as she pleases just because she happens to be a British citizen? It's horse dung.
This country's judiciary is rotten to the core. This country's Judy. I should just call it Judy. He just broke his pen. How is he going to replace it?
The Supreme Court's ruling aren't worth on paper they're writing on. The police are just imperial pawns. Stay your tongue, young man. There are complex political issues at play.
He just throws the pen away and gets instantly a new one.
Well, anyway, I quickly jotted down those words she said in my memo
pad. Many memo pad. Many memo pad. Whatever.
Are you ready? I'll read it out. It's all here. Right. Here goes. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast.
A serious criminal going on some junket. The people need to know about this. That's why I decided to sneak after them. To get the woman's story, so I could hammer her in the press. Do you mean to say you did indeed witness it firsthand? The grim scene portrayed in this photo. Oh yes, I saw it with my very own journal eyes. My special eyes. From start to finish through the viewfinder of my trusty camera. Thank you, Minmo. You will now give a formal testimony before the court. You will state exactly what it is that you witnessed of the events surrounding Miss Brett's death. Quite the interesting character. Quite the nervous character. Also, actually, potentially, our murderer. You know? The beach hut was made of shoddy old reed screens, so there was plenty of gaps I could see inside through. The English woman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the English woman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. My smoldering journal spirit burst into flames. Ah! Level 5, quick as a flash, I whipped out my camera ready to click. I pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and pocketed the lens through the perfect shot. Through for the perfect shot. What is wrong with this guy? You know, even if this guy isn't the murderer, we don't know yet, even then, he is basically an accomplice because he didn't stop the murder from happening. He actually witnessed it, watched it, even took a photo of it, and then left. Read screens, you say? Right, you can see them clearly through in that great shot I snapped. Schizophrenia. Why schizophrenia? The hut walls were just screens made of coarsely woven reeds. Yes, it allows the breeze to pass through and bring some relief from the summer heat. And it was a breeze for me to poke my camera through and see the whole thing hotting up. Crazy and delusional. Yeah. Maybe. Ignoring, for the time being, an appalling invasion of privacy involved. Did you witness everything that happened from the moment the defendant entered the hut? Oh yes, I saw it. I saw the whole thing from start to finish. And you say that you took the photo through a gap in one of the screens? Luckily for me, they were pretty shoddily woven. I pulled the reeds apart and thrust the lens of my camera through the gap. Just like a penis. Interestingly enough, we don't see any cracks in the lens of this camera. I would get away with it, or would I be seen? It was a gamble of a lifetime.
A tenacity of purpose that's considered admirable in a journalist, I suppose.
That caught me off guard. I'm here for that. Run and risky one day, run and scoop the next. That's mini-me in a nutshell. At last. My balls. It would appear we have a genuine witness to this wicked crime. The evidence and testimony are extremely compelling. I believe we may be close to a verdict. Also have my bees. No.
Wonderful news, Your Excellency, wonderful. I have some spring rolls I wanted to eat in an hour.
Nevertheless, it cannot be denied that this testimony begs one very large question.
What question?
Exclusive news, a startling photograph, all the makings of an exceptional story for the reporter. Why then was the story never published? Oh, that's right. It seems clear to me that there are circumstances at play here that are yet to be understood.
More pathetic excuses.
Very well then, Counsel. Proceed with your cross-examination. Yes, Your Excellency. As smart it is reported and meets the eye. He's keeping something about this case very close to his chest. Spoiler hint.
Hold it!
What made you want to see what's happening inside the beach hut in the first place? Call it journal instinct. I also like tits. Can you think of a better reason? Oh, I don't know. Perhaps because, as well as being a proven criminal, the person inside was a young woman. I see where you're going with this. Brace yourselves, people. He's painting the journal as a voyeur. It's hardly a slander, sir. You had a camera and you were taking pictures without a woman's knowledge. Nope, you've got it all wrong, little student boy. I asked beforehand and then went behind the hut to take my picture. That's not what I said. Sorry? That's a boy. No, it's not. It's Susie who pretends to be a boy because this is the Japanese court and the Japanese court doesn't allow any women inside except for maybe being a witness. So, because nobody basically wanted to defend her friend, Ray, she had to basically dress up like this and pretend to be a boy. To my mind, all that was inside the hut was a scoop. Nothing more, nothing less. Scoops know no gender, man or woman. It's all news. That's not even mini-me. It's basic journalism. Japan is a silly little place. It's also in the beginning of the 1900s, so... If only the courtroom was as indiscriminate. Right, so, if that's all buttoned up, can we move on? They've had customs like that for a while, though. Yes, I know, and they still have customs like that in many places. where they simply say like, a woman cannot do this job, or a woman is not allowed to be here. So the misogyny is still pretty prevalent in Japan. It's nothing new actually. It got a little bit better, but it's still like a lot there. Tell the court then, witness, what sight befell your eyes when you looked inside the hut. He didn't look, he just pushed his camera through the wall. A sight that vindicated my journal instinct, that's what. When I pulled back the reeds, I could see it all as clear as day. The problem is, if the Englishwoman was literally sitting in front of him, he couldn't see anything. How should he even see that the other girl came in? The arguing, on the other hand, that you can hear.
Hold it!
So you actually saw Bambi entering the hut? Yep, she was raging like a journal spirit. And the argument you mentioned, what was that about exactly? You stole it! I didn't steal it! That kind of thing. Talking about the poison, I suppose. A student girl walked right up to the English woman and really started laying onto her. I mean, if she laid it into her anymore, there would have been eggs. What? The man should have been an author. His descriptive talents are wasted on journalism. Well, hello there, Bob. There we go. But the students' rantings fell on deaf ears, like a Japanese person listening to English for the first time. He really ought to work on his, sim miles? A simile, okay. He really ought to work on his similes first, though, to be honest. Anyway, the point is that woman in the dock was mightily angry.
And her temper finally got the better of her, it seems. Dear me.
Which was the climactic moment that I caught on film. No, you took a photo.
Hold it!
Do you swear before this court that you actually saw the precise moment when the stabbing took place? Ha! The precise moment? I didn't see just that. I saw the whole hellish scene play out from the start to finish.
I have here a simple plan for the beach hut. Perhaps you could use it to explain to the court exactly what you witnessed.
Right you are. It's all here in my Minmo memo pad. When I first peered into the hut, I'm sure the English woman was on this stool at the back of the hut here, which would block his way to see anything in the hut.
Yes, the accused's own testimony confirmed that.
She just sat there at the back of the hut smiling sweetly, is what I have noted down.
It's my turn to testify now. Try not to interrupt. Then, the next moment, as I was watching, the evil student girl entered the hut. After a while, the pair of them ended up in the middle of the hut, arguing furiously. Which is funny because, like, we also had, like, an explanation of, like, her sitting there, then getting stabbed, then standing up, then falling on the ground. Aha. But now this is an important change that we haven't known about. The English woman went for the student, but the girl dodged out of the way. If this is now the case, then anybody from that side could have stabbed her from the back. But when she lay on the floor, her head faced the entry point of the hut. So if she would have been stabbed right here, right now, in the back, and she wouldn't have turned around, then she would lie the other way around, with the feet facing the entrance. And in a flash plunged the knife into her adversary's back as the two passed each other. Still doesn't make sense. You know, it still doesn't make sense because of the photo we have. Look where she is standing, where she's actually lying, not standing. Look how far back in the hut she was. So if they had a quarrel going on and then changed places, and while they changed, she would have stabbed her in the back, she would be laying far further towards the entrance of the hut. So that is a lie. That can't be true. What do you describe as a grim crime indeed? Never sugarcoat the truth. That's what Minmo says. I'm sorry, that's what Minimi says.
By the way, Minmo, whilst you were watching that terrible scene unfold before your eyes through the gap in the screen, did it not occur to you to try to prevent the tragedy rather than capture it on film?
Journalists have to be observers. We can't get involved. That's our raison d'être, which is French for our reason for existence. I will not pretend that my French is still great. It's reason of being. Raison d'être.
So you didn't converse with Miss Brad at all?
Obviously not. An observer always remains on the outside looking in and becoming an accomplice.
And that's something to be proud of, is it?
Your Excellency, if I may. Are you secretly a Frenchman? No, but what do you expect? French was one of the languages we learn in school. So. Je suis parle français. Ça c'est la réalité. Yes, Professor. I think the witness's last expertly phrased statement should perhaps be added to this formal testimony.
Father, what are you?
I will grant the defense's request. Meanwhile, you will supplement your formal testimony with the aforementioned statement. Well, nihilism is the foundation of minimi, but I'll gladly prove that my words aren't meaningless. I never once set foot in the hut nor spoke with the Englishwoman. I was there only as an observer.
Hold it!
Really? You didn't set foot inside the hut at all? Are you quite sure about that?
I think you may have the wrong impression of me. We're talking about a murder scene here. My nerves were stretched to the breaking point already.
Oh, I see. You were scared? Maybe I did have the wrong impression of you, yes.
It was all I could do. It was all I could do to stifle a scream and hold my hand steady enough to snap the shot. You really should have summoned help before thinking of your camera. Minimi and humanism don't always agree. That is true. And most of the time in those instances, Minimi comes out on top. As a sculptor of stories, sometimes I have to be cruel for my art. Yes, that's spot on. No?
Help me! I might be falling. Help me up.
I'm sorry, I have to take a photo of this wonderful, grimly scene you are unfolding here in front of me.
Help me, I will fall and die.
Yes, that's good. That will make a wonderful new page in the newspapers.
Surely he's making all this up.
He claims to have spied the whole affair from start to finish. If true, his testimony is devastating.
But it does seem as though he's holding something back, doesn't it?
If that's how you feel, I suggest you trust your instincts and press him on everything he said. As you've no doubt seen done many times before in your role as a duty assistant.
Yes, I have. I've seen witnesses like this pressed often. I know exactly what to do.
The beach hut was made of shoddy old reed screens, so there were plenty of gaps I could see inside through. I see nothing that speaks against that.
Hold it!
What made you... I think we repeat now things? What made you see what was happening inside the beach hut in the first place? Call it Jonah instinct? Can you think of any better reason? I don't know, perhaps because blah. The person inside was a young woman. I see where you're going with this. Brace yourself, people. He's painting a Jonah as a voyeur. It's hardly slender, sir. At your camera paging, blah blah blah. No, you've got it all wrong. Was a scoop, nothing less. It's all news. Basic journalism. Okay. Good. It's all clear as a day. Yeah. So far that is just normal. The English woman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her. I just have to wonder how he could potentially see that. Because we see clearly on this photo, there's only this one gap exactly behind the stool. So he could have not seen anything. Also, this part is weird because look at this huge gap in the reeds, which from the previous photo didn't look as crazy big as this one. Like he said like he jabbed his camera through the reeds to get this shot. But did he? I mean, if he did, then we wouldn't actually see like any of the reed walls, right, on the photo. So this is kind of weird. This is kind of weird, and it is also at a very low angle, to be honest. You know, there's the ground already there. He couldn't have really taken the photo from here. Like, it looks more like he took the photo from down there or something. So like on this height, not on this. English woman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her. Let me see the next sentence. Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife, throwing the English woman to the floor as she stabbed her in the back. See? This doesn't fit at all. This here doesn't fit at all his other description where he said like they both went into an argument, then went into the middle of the hut still arguing, and then they flipped around. So he's contradicting himself actually with this. I don't think there's anything in this here. Despite that I say he couldn't see her coming in. Like, the game is not gonna give me that. It's not gonna give me that. I will still present it and say like, this is dumb shit.
Objection!
What about the witness's last statement here? Well,
See, that's exactly what I expected. The game will tell me like, are you stupid? This makes sense. Of course we cannot allow that. This is ridiculous.
Hold it!
Yeah. Da. When I first peered into the hut, I'm sure that the English woman was on this stool at the back of the hut here. It's just really annoying because basically I already know that he cannot see this because she's sitting there. He can say that she was on that stool, which makes perfect sense. And we have from other people a confirmation that she was actually sitting there. This is still weird to me. He shouldn't be able to see her. To hear her, I can understand. After a while, the pair of them ended up in the middle of the hut arguing furiously. See, here he is creating a paradox. And I cannot take what he said in the next sentence, or actually in this sentence that leads to this, and say like, but you said she basically entered the room, took her, threw her on the ground and stabbed her. That's basically what he said, and now he's explaining to us that she enters the hut, gets into arguments. They even stand both up, go in the middle of the hut, keep arguing. The English woman went for the student, but the girl dodged out of the way. And in a flash plunged the knife into her adversaries. Blah, blah, blah. Sometimes I really don't like that the game is basically written like that, where it basically has only specific points where you need specifically to point out something, despite that you already have proof that some things are just crap. Okay.
Hold it!
The Kurd.
The court is fully aware of your desire to capture the incident on film, I'm sure. But why did you choose to post the photograph anonymously to the police?
I'm afraid I don't understand a word that is coming out of your mouth. So much for being a journalist.
I'm asking why, as a journalist, you decided not to make a story out of the incident.
Think of me as a sculptor who makes art out of the sordid private details of other people's lives. But I never discuss my own personal life on principle. I mean, that's the basic of mini-me.
It's not something to boast about.
No doubt your burning desire to see the truth exposed and justice done was what motivated you.
That's it! That's brilliant! My burning desire to see something or other exposed.
Has to be a good reason why he didn't think to write an article about what he saw, though.
On your own admission, you were outside the hut. How then did you manage to take the photo? Ah, yes, Dad. I'm glad you asked. I pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked the lens through for the perfect shot. Well, makes mostly sense.
Hold it!
But the two women inside didn't notice?
Ha! Obviously not. If they had, where would I be right now? In jail, that's where.
Which you would think would make you reflect on what you were doing?
No, a journalist's job is to collect little snippets of life as unobtrusively as possible. Leave nothing but footprints, take nothing but photos. Yes, that's spot on.
Did he just make that up?
The point is, the witness risked life and limb to obtain this photo.
Did he, or did he just watch someone die?
And this photo reveals the whole truth. There's nothing more to be said.
Never once set foot in the hut, nor spoke with the Englishwoman. I was the only one. I was there only as an observer, which of course we already know is a lie, because he has a ink spot here, an ink. And we know there was an ink pen involved into all of this. So...
Hold it!
Really? You didn't set foot inside the hut at all? Are you quite sure about that?
Okay, that's the same thing they said before. Talk about murder scene, no smoke. I see, you were scared. Yeah, there's this ink spot. It's actually funny he didn't get rid of it. He claims to have spied the whole affair from start to finish. If true, his testimony is devastating. Yeah, okay, we had this before. You know, we have basically a pen with the initials of RM, which is basically his name, Raito Many Memo. So this is his pen. beach hut plan. Then there's the murder weapon. Chemical reagent. Photo. Which I still say this is not the same blade. There's the article about the poison. There we have the pen. Had this before, right? Oh, actually we didn't.
If we take off the pen's lid,
And then what?
now let's unscrew the barrel, shall we? This must be the little reservoir that holds the ink.
Yes, you fill it by drawing ink from a bottle up through the nib.
Something wrong, Father?
Just there doesn't naturally appear to be any ink in there at all.
Oh yes, you're right. It's pretty much empty. Well, it could be on the verge of running out, I suppose.
There's a very small amount of liquid still inside. Could we use the reagent on that to reveal it's actually poison? We could, except we cannot combine in this game. Which... Let's look at the footsteps actually there. So we see there are footsteps coming in. There's footsteps going back and forth. Those are long footsteps. She apparently has no shoes on, which kind of makes sense because they are on the beach. That there is definitely barefooted, but there are also shoes. And here's the interesting part. Those are male shoes. They are also very long shoes. And I don't think they belong to Ray at all. You know? I don't know. You see, okay, you see my mouse cursor. So this here is a barefoot print. But these are like big shoes. Ray certainly didn't have like this kind of shoes on the beach. Either she had like none. Oh, actually we can test that if we actually see. Maybe we see. Look at this. She already had kind of a swimsuit going on, so I can imagine she was also barefoot. So where do those footprints with shoes come from, if not from Mr. Minmo? He's the only one with big feet and potentially shoes like this. So I don't think that actually there was an argument between Ray and the English woman. There was an argument between Minmo and the English woman. And he stabbed her. And then he left. It was an argument about the poison. There was an argument about the poison, I think. And now that I look at it, look at this part here. Here. This looks like it's either the tip, the top of a bottle, or it could actually be a writing pen. The writing pen we have obtained for this court case is this one, the one we found in her hand. And that pen belongs to Minmo. We know that now because of the initials. He's also having an ink blotch on his hand. Which is, of course, still the question, like, why is that? But there is a possibility that maybe he tried to empty the pen, which also brings us to an interesting thing. What if he emptied the pen so he could put the poison in it? Which might be... yeah, no, that makes no sense. It makes no sense that this is the poison. But let's assume he had the pen and he wanted to use the pen as a means of transportation for the poison. She obtained the poison from the laboratory. Or maybe he obtained the poison from the laboratory. Which makes more sense. She was not free. She was always under surveillance for the murder she did. So not she did steal the poison. That would make not much sense. So let's assume he stole it. He stole it from the laboratory. Blah blah blah. Interview. They went to the beach. She's inside the hut. She is inside the hut. He comes in to talk with her about this because also she is getting deported to, what was it? Shanghai? Something like that, to be trialed there in an English court instead. So to actually transport the poison out of the country, she would be the perfect carrier. Or should I say courier. So he put the poison into the pen to make her transport that overseas. You know, when I was still at the point of like empty the pen's ink, I was like, what if he emptied the ink on the sand and then to obstruct, to make it not look like there was actually ink in the sand, he poured out a glass of red wine on top of it to mask it. But I don't think that's the case. I think the case is that she drank the poison. That is the most logical fact here somehow. What if he put the poison in her wine? She drank it, and that's why she died. From the poison. He left the pen in her hand to frame our friend because she has the same initials as the reporter. On top of that, after she got poisoned, this could be a complete setup for this murder. So basically, he poisons her by making her drink the poison. She drinks it. It doesn't take long to take hold of her body and kill her. She falls over. The glass falls on the sand, pours out. He put the pen into her hand because of the framing possibility with RM, because they gonna frame someone else for this. Or should I say, he is going to frame someone else. But this scene, as you see it here, is not how it was. She might have drank the poison and then fell down on the ground. I think he would then take her, make her sit on the stool, let her lean against the backside of the hut so she wouldn't just fall over. And then he basically set up the whole scene like that, went to the backside of the hut, where he actually couldn't see anyone coming in, but he could have noticed who is coming to the hut now. And he might have stabbed her then, or before he set it up. Like, it doesn't matter if he stabbed her before he set her down on the stool or after she was sitting on the stool and he stabbed her through the back of the hut. Doesn't matter. But because he does that, he gives everybody the impression that she was actually stabbed with a blade. That was the original setup, and then we have also discovered there's poison involved, so everybody was expecting that she got... No, so the stabbing was only done to mislead from the fact that she was poisoned, but actually everybody should think she was stabbed. She was sitting there, she already had a knife in her back, but she was already dead. She wasn't killed by the knife itself, she was poisoned. She sat there, and Ray came in, and Ray already knew that the poison was stolen from the laboratory, and she knew or suspected her to be the courier of the poison, or the in possession of the poison. She only saw her sitting there, and she wanted to confront her. She starts an argument, but she's not arguing back, of course, because she's dead. But instead, she falls over from the stool with a knife in her back. And Ray panics, but also notices that the dilation of the pupils of her, which she knows is a symptom of the poison. She sees the blade in her back. She pulls out the knife because she suspects that the poison is on the blade, which it never was. And that is the perfect moment when he takes a picture of it, framing her. of course, I don't know if any of this is true, but it would make a lot of sense. Even if she was the one who obtained the poison from the laboratory. I think she was the one, right? Because they still allowed her to work at the university, despite that she was a convicted murderer. If I remember correctly, it has been a moment. So it actually doesn't matter if she obtained the poison or he obtained the poison. I don't exactly know how it played out, but I'm pretty sure that he poisoned her, and I'm pretty sure it was poison in the wine. And I'm also very much convinced that he set up this scene to make Ray that he could frame Ray with it. It would make perfect sense. Well, the pen definitely belongs to him, that is clear. And the pen is definitely the carrier of the poison. And we can prove that by using the tincture we have on the pen. Except I cannot combine stuff in my inventory, so I cannot prove it right now. But yeah, he set this up to frame Ray. But of course he couldn't actually publish this story in the newspaper, because then he would be also called into court, because he would be the one who took the photos. This one wasn't taken by him, but the other one. And so he sent the other one anonymously to the police. So Ray would be framed and he would be out of the picture. He just made one mistake. He didn't notice that his lens was broken, or maybe he knew but he forgot about it. I have to start coding now. Yeah, then good luck with your coding. Don't worry, I will stop very soon. It's killing me. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Thank you so much, Epitune. Until next time. Bye bye. I just don't see where I can apply any of this. Okay, I only made 2 saves for this. Yeah. Right now I don't really know where to press any evidence on what he says, but I shall see.